Let's see. Let's see if we're live on YouTube at least. Yep. Okay. Go on. Come on. Well, it says we're live, but I don't see us. Okay, now we're live. Now we're live. Awesome. All right. Welcome back, everyone, to Odys Talks. It's 33rd episode. Yeah, it's Odys Talks 33. And today I'm joined by two terrific gentlemen. Yeah, John couldn't make it, regrettably. He has mm, problem with his dog that's sick, so yeah, he couldn't make it. So hopefully he'll make it to another episode. But today I'm joined by Chris Panteli of Linkify and Karl Hudson of Sarchuru and a number of different other things. Naturally, the show is brought to you by Odys Global, your one-stop marketplace for age domains, premium names, and websites, as well as several additional services, including uh, topic clusters, 3-in-1 redirects, fully managed website hosting, and EAT audit. So if you're interested in either of those, you can find them on our website or just reach out to our team and they'll sort you out. Also, we've launched the lease to own feature that was previously provided privately, so now it's public. If you've spotted a domain or website that matches your business needs, solves your issues or needs, whatever it is, but you don't want to or can't pay it in full right this moment, you can now do it in parts. Same, just reach out to our team and they'll sort you out. All right, gentlemen, welcome back, guys. And Karl,
big introduction.
Yeah, Karl, I think you're the most frequent guest on the show so far. I mean, you've been here. This is your third time on the show, but the span you've managed to do it, like, it's shorter than ever for anyone else. All right, guys, why don't you introduce yourselves as well and just add anything you'd like people to know about you. Karl,
Do you want to go first? Oh, should I go first?
Go on, Carl.
I'll go.
Actually, they don't need to know, do they? If you've been on 3 times in the past week or whatever.
I've been involved in SEO since I was a toddler. It feels like, anyway, about 20 years or something. Many businesses online, do a lot of local stuff, affiliate stuff, casinos, which I'm currently exiting out of, or pretty much have exited out of. And just loads of stuff. Searcheroo kind of came up a few years ago. We founded Searcheroo, which is like a link building agency. It was always created with the idea of utilizing it for our own assets and our own team, because obviously we have quite a few websites. A lot of the people know one of my business partners, and he has quite a few hundred websites, and as do I. So the team are quite busy with a lot of our sites, and then it just kind of made sense to create a link building agency off the back of it, because of how much we do outreach and things anyway. Been to many masterminds, and this is kind of where I am now.
Awesome, thanks. Chris.
My name's Chris Panteli, co-founder of Linkify. So we specialize in expert quote link building, digital and running digital PR campaigns. So we're like a white hat link building agency. We've been in business coming up 3 years now, I think. We have a small portfolio of sites as well. We're going to quite a few conferences. I'm speaking at the Dubai conference, Charles Floats, next month. That's me. And I got married last week by the way. So shout out to my adoring wife.
Amazing, guys. All right, let's kick it off.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Okay, funny you mentioned white hat stuff. I really love asking this question. when I've been doing the Odys podcast episode with Matt Diggity, he mentioned something he called the fake white hat black hat war, saying that his argument was that, and probably is, that there's actually no such thing as white hat black hat, and whatever works works. So what's your stance on this?
Well, we know that black hat works. The way we position Linkify is as per Google's like terms of service, and to not pay for link placements on websites. Like our company, you pay us to earn links via pitching journalists or editorially earned via PR campaigns. So if you just don't want any risk, then that's what we offer. That's all we do. So we may as well just brand ourselves as that. But if you're in casino, as I'm sure Karl will tell you, you need to get as many links as you can from any avenue. And if Google isn't penalizing casinos, then is it black hat? Probably not. No.
Well, my opinion very much on it is, I think when looking at the Google guidelines, Google basically say if your intention is to manipulate search ranking, that it's technically black hat. So even if you're building links from pictures from whatever source of the link's free, the intention really for that client is for them to move up in rankings, right? So
could be, or building a brand. Yeah,
it's not, though, is it? The client's not going to be happy if you're not ranking. So again, I think this is why it's like a blurred line, right? It's very much as you can never really prove whether or not it's been a paid link, unless you just can't, unless you actually have access to the person's bank account and see the transaction. So yeah, I think it's just one of them where Google just threaten, and I think a lot of the time, SEOs who prod the bear. So for instance, Charles is a great example where he has prodded the bear many times and got attacked by the bear. So I think it's just one of them where you just kind of it happens. You just kind of play it safe and just keep going. I know, especially like Chris mentioned in casino, you literally, you're not going to get any to do just PR pitching. I know casino is a very difficult niche within that space to get links in general, because most magazines don't really want to write about that sort of stuff, or journalists, and a lot of them are looking for opinions from companies that usually are huge brands. They're not interested in little Joe blogs who might only have a white label casino doing a couple of million a year. They're more interested in the likes of 888, Leo V, the big names in the casino space. But again, it's one of them industries where, if you can get a link, you can get a link. So happy days. So yeah, my opinion on it is white hat, black hat, money hat, whatever you want to chuck a hat at, just whatever works.
Yeah. You have to judge it on industry, I suppose, by your competition, and then also your own personal risk tolerance as well. Like we know Google will put links or domains into buckets, and then they'll give link penalties, and they'll put certain domains into baskets and say these are toxic links. If you build in PR links from Forbes, New York Times, those domains are never going to get penalized. So you can build these sorts of links, in my opinion, with a peace of mind that you're not going to get a manual penalty from Google from your link profile. But is risk tolerance versus profitability. You can't have no risk tolerance in casino, but not everyone's in casino. So
one of the interesting, funny things that Kyle Roof mentioned during our last episode with him and Gail Breton of Authority Hacker was that if you want to talk about like black hat, white hat stuff, you first have to read Google guidelines properly and know the document by heart, pretty much. was really funny because, well, I personally never thought about it because, well, I'm not doing SEO, right? But yeah, it was like not everyone, okay, but a lot of people are talking about black hat this, white hat that, and he was like, yeah, if you've never read this document, if you don't know it by heart, just there's no sense of in talking to you about it.
I kind
Google
of feel
also.
like...
Go on, Carl.
Go on, Chris. No, go on.
No, I was just going to say Google changes those documents as well. Like, and they won't tell you that they've changed them. It's you've got to how much the document is worth is you can only know by testing and seeing. Like, it's not really worth anything. It's just words on paper. Yeah. If Google says don't build links to manipulate page rank, but you buy 1,000 niche edits, rank a website, and then make 5K a month for a year, like, who cares what the document says? You've got to see and test and observe.
Another point as well, I think, is like people often confuse, like, to me, black hat SEO. So obviously I've been involved in casinos, so I've seen a lot of negative SEO things and hacky stuff that happens.
Shady stuff.
So, yeah, I class that as black hat SEO. I don't class link building. I wouldn't even put that into white or black. It's just link building. Like, black hat SEO is where, you know, stuff's getting in SQL injections in, it's getting hacked, it's getting, you know, redirected, stuff like this, cloaked. All of these sort of tactics is black hat SEO. Whereas link building just is part of SEO. And in my honest opinion, that's kind of how I see SEO. I don't really see white or black. Black is just more the, you going down, you know, borderline, well, not borderline, illegal route.
Yeah.
It isn't borderline, it is illegal. But yeah, that's just like, we've seen that a lot in the casino. You have to keep an eye out for it as well. You know, people attacking the site and stuff like that. So yeah. That's, in my opinion, that's what I would see it as.
Yeah, you guys are both in the link building game. I mean, you both have link building agencies, right? Companies, agencies, whatever you want to call it. But you're also doing a number of other things, right? So, considering the topic of this conversation, like anti-fragile SEO and digital business, in your opinion, what is the most like change-proof, let's say, type of digital business these days? Something that can like withstand whatever.
I would say anything that you can make a profit on from a paid ads perspective. One of the core fundamentals of my entire SEO strategy, even in gambling, was if you can get it profitable on paid ads, you can make it, it's a forever green business. It will always be profitable. And also it gives you enough data to then work out how to do the SEO side. So it's one of the reasons why, in terms of failure or hit rate, when it comes to SEO, from my personal experience, is if you're willing to spend that money up front on paid ads and test the marketplace with a lump of money, you can often avoid the pitfall of wasting 6 to 12 months trying to rank for some keywords that might not even work for you, and then end up causing a true failure in the business, right? So that's kind of my approach. It doesn't really matter the industry. I've tried it a lot, but you just test an industry with a small budget. You know, Google Ads usually have some type of free offering on a new account. Sign up for a new Gmail, you spend, I think at the moment in the UK, it's £400 and get £400 free. So you get £800 test budget for £400, you know, £400 investment. And then you can very quickly, within a week, probably work out whether or not what you're going to take to market is going to be profitable or not. That's the way I do it. I'm not sure if Chris does it some other way.
I don't know. Are you saying like that's gonna a single digital online business that's gonna survive anything that's thrown at it for years and decades to come?
I don't know about like anything, but like the sturdiest one, let's say. Not the sturdiest, but the. Huh?
Yeah.
That niche ain't Cream.
I've just got married though, so as I'm now a married man, I'm just gonna have to leave the porn game, I'm afraid. And
Wedding ring. That's not going
for us, where we're seeing real ROI and longevity is building and owning community. So for us, that seems like a pretty solid long-term business model. I think we are in an, especially us as you know, PR link building, it's changing month on month. Like the onset of AI has just been crazy. Journalists are reacting to it on a weekly basis. I think there'll always be a need for like PR in whatever guise that is. Karl said earlier, people aren't going to be happy if they're buying links and they're not ranking. Agreed. But, you know, in 5-10 years time, Google may one day turn off the switch and say links don't matter. But I think there'll always be a need for brand building and PR, traditional PR or whatnot. But I think any business that's built a community and they own that community, they own the platform, the email list, whatever it is, then that gives you at least room to pivot and survive. That's the direction we're trying to.
Well, it's basically leveraging word of mouth, but like not physically, in terms of like people talking. While this may be the case in some to some degree, right? Like there might be like community in Chiang Mai or wherever where people exchange opinions and stuff like that. But in general, you get people around an idea, concept, product, or service, and they just continue talking about it, chatting about it, tweeting about it, and yeah, pretty much like Noah Berger puts it, like word of mouth is the best marketing you can do.
You know,
Doesn't get any better.
From an ODYS perspective, have you noticed any like increase in certain sites trying to sell on the platform, or like maybe the fear of the whole, you know, SGE that's coming out at some point? Is it being changed, the guideline? But is there any like increase in certain, you know, sectors or whatever that you're seeing within ODYS and the domains and websites you sell?
I haven't noticed any like particular niches to be more, let's say, to get more trendy in terms of domain sales or stuff like that, at least on our end. What I've noticed is a lot of talks about like leveraging domains authority with AI. I mean, you have a domain with like a bunch of links, everything's checked and clean and stuff like that, and you can just blast it with AI content. Well, it was easier like half a year back, right? Now it's more into human edited stuff, but still AI, which still saves a lot of time and effort, right? So I hear a lot of talks about this. Another thing that I've noticed is that well, we're seeing an increase in demand when it comes to websites. So like we have this category that we coin as aged websites. I mean, they go through the same due diligence process. They're all like vetted and proved and checked, clean and stuff like that. But yeah, it's like when you get an aged domain just as a domain name, you get all this leverage, but it's still just you have to build a site and fill it out with content. But when you get a site, you have like everything already, like buying an apartment that's already fitted out with furniture and
what category of site are you seeing? Like a single category of site that's seeing this explosion of demand?
No, that's the thing.
Affiliate. No.
That's the thing. I don't see any like any category or niche being more preferred by customers, by buyers. Just that they tend
want the full site.
to buy sites, more than domains lately. I mean, we still get domains sold on a regular basis, but since we started offering sites as well, this also we've seen a growth in demand for them as well.
Institutional investors maybe, or Karl coming in and throwing 100,000 searcheroo links at a site and tripling the traffic.
Well, one thing that just popped up in my mind is that law firms actually love H domains because they get to juice up their sites, existing sites, with links and traffic, and just leverage their authority in search engines. There's a question from Franklin Chakotay. I hope I pronounced it correctly. If not, I apologize. All right. So his question for Karl and Chris. I have a large portfolio of domain names that I want to sell. How can Searcheroo and Linkify help me add value?
Buy links. Are they just domains, or are they
the websites, or
are they websites? Yeah.
Well, just says
but
domains.
again, let's assume the website. So then, I guess the way you're going to increase value is you're going to have to get, them ranked in for some keywords. Just because they're age doesn't necessarily mean they've got any value at all. And again, if you utilize an ODYS to sell them, if you are building links, obviously that does then increase the value anyway with ODYS, because they have they factor in the links into that. So obviously having some of even Chris's, where it's like more Harrow style, and it's like the likes of Forbes and that, is going to have more value than a guest post on a DR30 site, for instance. So I would definitely be looking at sort of what strategy you could do to increase traffic and then increase obviously RDs within the budget. That's what I would be looking at. And obviously it's down to you on what terms of ROI you're looking for in doing that and cost investment.
You want an upward trajectory on traffic. And then if you've got earnings as well, you want to see an increase or a level out earnings over a 12-month period, ideally. If you've already got that and you're like on, I don't know how old your sites are. If they're aged, I suppose they're going to be older than a year, aren't they? But if they're making money consistently over the past few years, and you just want to add some value to maximize the sale price, and you've got like a couple of sites with like no links at all, let's say, then ODYS or any marketplace is going to value a site better with a healthy looking backlink profile. So I wouldn't know what the ROI on the cost of a link against the resale value of it would be, although I'm sure ODYS would know. And I suppose it depends on the buyer as well, doesn't it? Like, and the seasonality, the niche, the market. But I doubt you'd lose money buying some nice links, or even if you had some keywords in position 2, 3, 4, let's say, and some guest posts, some well purchased guest posts, to bring those money pages up to position 1. Leave it a few months. If it's going to make an extra few thousand a month based on a 2 or 3 point bump in the SERPs, then that's going to add massive value. So a few targeted guest posts, or depending on like the site, the keyword rankings, all of that, blah 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 blah.
All right, guys, thanks for your answers. Franklin, hopefully this answers your question. Getting back to our conversation, I've been thinking, so the year has just started, pretty much, like its first month ends today. Has it brought in new... What is it?
Been a long month.
It's been a long month.
I'm getting paler and paler as this month progresses.
So has this first month already brought any like unexpected challenges business-wise to you guys? And what were they, if you can talk about them?
Trying to hide my laptop at my wedding.
I can go probably first on it. I reckon the hardest thing in my business is learning to say no to things. Often because you can, when you understand online marketing, whether or not be Facebook ads. So for instance, Facebook ads, I can probably do it myself. However, recently we've actually just engaged, I don't know if you guys have ever dealt with Rick and his socialppc.co.uk, but recently engaged with him from a business point of view, just because I need to start saying, no, I'm not going to do that. And actually I'm going to pay someone whose job is to do that, and their expertise is all in that, and it's going to get better that way, because I'm quite bad at, I'll do it myself, and then I kind of take it on. But then I do SOP things still, so I've been training up and doing a lot more SOPs, because I started getting stuck and actually just doing, I quite enjoy doing the work. That's half the issue, but it's like starting to say, no, I'll do it once, I'll record myself doing it, and then I can hand that over to the team, and then they can do it. That's kind of what not challenge, but for me to be able to grow, because we're doing a lot of investments. We've just done a 6-figure investment in a gambling company. For me to grow, you kind of want to focus on trying to expand your team a little bit more, and go from there. So that's kind of what we're doing.
I'd say same answer. Yeah, we've gone from a team of 10 to over 20 now in the past 6 months, something like that. But I'm still doing lots of stuff I know I shouldn't be doing, and then also taking on stuff that's. I've got a business, but I've got a business partner who's like really complementary in terms of like skills and like strengths and weaknesses. So I think that's a big help. Otherwise, I'd probably be. I go down rabbit holes, man. I can lose hours when I shouldn't be. I've got other stuff which needs to be done, and then you are deep in a rabbit hole of something that's piqued your interest. And but I think that's part of the fun. But a challenge, I'd say, a challenge for us obviously has been the ongoing Google update onslaught on affiliate sites. So like e-com. Real estate sites in YMYL that have got good authority and haven't been hit. They see the value of high authority links, but it's hard for an affiliate site that was doing a few K a month that's just been battered, and loads of sites have just been absolutely battered. I guess it's hard for them to see. I mean, there is that like sense of you can stimulate a recovery or whatnot, but the industry's taken a hard hit, I'd say, in low grade affiliate stuff that's just lost positions to Quora, Reddit.
Because actually one of the brands we own, Backlink Doctor, is actually having its peak, its best times ever. So we kind of own a recovery brand where we do loads of audits and toxic links and identify all the toxicity and stuff. And we are seeing quite a few customers increase, but also the nicest thing off the back of it, we've seen one of the biggest successes we've had where the site literally got absolutely crushed, and you're going down from about 700k traffic to like 1 or 2k, and they're now, after about 6 months, they're back up to above where they were previously, which is pretty.
And it's good to know that it's possible, because people feel dejected, especially like solopreneurs or whatnot, because you can have single, one-man operations with sites that are huge, doing massive revenue, and they've built these things. They've got one site, all their eggs in one basket. And, if it goes from, 1 million monthly organic down to nothing, that's like their entire business. But it's not just like, it's their entire business that was good business. It's not like they were, full-time whatever lawyer and it's just a little side project and it's like, that's a shame. These sites can be making huge amounts of money and you've seen them just tank. But like Karl said, they can come back. It's just, what's the brand you own? Backlink Doctor.
Yeah,
go there.
It's interesting to get on calls, and like obviously the hard part is people don't always understand that. Let's say we've had someone came to us recently, quite a big website, and they were making, I believe they were making, 20, 30Ks a month at their peak. And then they built so many links. I think it was something stupid, about 20 million backlinks they had at the site. Now, they then come to us and say, oh, how much is it for a link audit? I'm like, well, I need to get a member of staff to sit and go through 20 million backlinks. It is not going to be cheap. You see what I mean? It's going to be expensive. So then you say, oh, like, this is the price. And they're like, oh, well, I'm not going to, can you just tell us how to do it? So, well, no.
Jeez, 20 million links.
Oh, man.
20 million links to sift through. It's like, how long it takes the team there's 3 of them that do it on that side, and it takes them, they'll be on weeks and weeks and weeks to get through that.
Yeah.
And, your average site, you're looking at probably like up to 100K backlinks usually is what we kind of look at roughly. And that can be done within a couple of days, usually up to a week. But yeah, you see, but again, it's quite interesting how Google's obviously now applying the algorithms, which is quite good because you can have that instant feedback as well, not necessarily from disavowing links. Like, don't get us wrong, if you have by a link penalty, it's usually going to be the next core update where you'll see the effect of that. However, if it is something to do with, like the helpful content or the EAT and stuff like this, you can often play around with themes, website layout, page formats, and very quickly you'll get feedback on whether or not that it's preferring the new feedback or the new theme.
Testing.
Exactly. Yeah. Just test and see. Because sometimes actually, if you look at the SERPs, it could be that you just don't match the intent anyway. And I've seen that in gambling a million times where, at one point we were ranking number 1 for like the biggest terms in the UK. And eventually I was watching it happen over time, but it was a hell of a lot of home pages that were ranking. And then over time, there was just more and more internal pages coming in, to a point where there was one homepage ranking and it was us. The rest were internal. So it was like a ticking time bomb waiting for them just to decide, you know what, that's it. It's now only internal intent. And it's a lot harder for someone who's been, leveraging homepage to swap to that internal intent. So there's also factoring in that element as well, as it changed.
And that's back to basics as well. That's stuff that you can just observe yourself, isn't it? Take your top keywords that you've lost positions on and just go and have a look. Because if you haven't looked in, a few months, 6 months, a year, things change like massively. Yeah. We ranked for a really, we've got a finance site and we ranked for a really a long tail keyword that was bringing us in about 3K a month, right? This keyword, and in the SERPs on the top 10 pages, I think we were positioned 2 or 3, spiking along for about 12 months. And I didn't look at it because Linkify was like taken off, and we didn't look at it for a while. Anyway, I noticed obviously the affiliate earnings for that particular affiliate offer that we had on that page sort of dwindling. When I took time to really dive into it, we'd just been wiped off the face of the page 1. And what was ranking on page 1 was like garbage, PDF links, big authority sites, FAQ pages, really weird stuff. I mean, it was a weird keyword we'd gone after anyway, and it was a weird affiliate offer that we were making money on. But the SERPs was not ranking normal websites for whatever reason. So it didn't take long to look at that and then think, is this something that we should try and rank for? Can we rank for it? Like, it just took 5 seconds to look at page 1 of Google for that keyword to make it a really sensible business decision on whether or not there would be any ROI or trying to get that keyword back. I
think sometimes as well, the hard part with affiliate as well, and I know firsthand in this, is sometimes the various different affiliate campaigns that you run in, they might have, so, I was mentioning earlier using like paid ads or something to run. Some of them actually have it against the terms and conditions to run paid ads unless it's a generic term. So actually it's quite hard for an affiliate to try and leverage paid ads when he can't bid on the keywords he's trying to rank the article for. Because obviously that brand wants to protect their brand name or whatever brand name review. So yeah, it's another tricky situation. Like, to be fair, I do feel quite bad for some of it. I know quite a few friends as well who've been hit, and their website, to be fair, is probably one of the best in the niche for the information they provide, yet they still got hit. And it's like, is that fair? I'm not too sure. And when you look at what's replaced them in SERPs, you kind of go, I'm not sure if this is any better than, it's definitely not better than what they were supplying. But again, it's wait and see.
Do you think
they've sacked all the raters, haven't they? They've March, all of the good old raters, whether or not they move it to somewhere else, but Appin lost the contract for the rater, quality raters, so that comes to an end.
The rumors of SGE not rolling out in the way and the timeline that we thought it would. I read something really interesting on Twitter saying that Bing's taken less than 1% market share. It costs Google a lot of money to run SGE. Why bother if they're
I don't see the point in it for them. Plus, if you think in the niches that you're involved in, like I'm involved in the money or your life niches, you are opening yourself up to lawsuits left, right, and center. If that you wouldn't be able to publish in those niches, so then what they're going to go for informational niches when our team's currently playing around with AI and the output, so you can actually manipulate what AI will give you as an answer. And that's what we're currently playing around with. And it's very easy to do. And it's like, well, wait a sec. How easy is it going to be to gamify the bots and the answers they're giving? So they're giving the wrong answers. I just don't think I personally don't see why they would do it. What have they got to compete with Bing?
Yeah. That's
I like Bing, but I don't really see them as competition for Google.
And it costs them a lot to generate those results as well. Like
exactly
a lot.
Wasn't it something like a 10-second generation? Like I don't know if you ever notice people on search, but they're very lazy, and that within probably 2 or 3 seconds they've clicked onto something to find the answer of what they're searching for, right? Who has 10 seconds to sit and wait for the bot to generate an answer that might be wrong?
And you validate answers as humans. We validate,
exactly.
don't we? That's why you want to go into a website. I mean, personally, I would Google something the other day. I saw a TikTok video with a drone flying over the pyramids, and there was some writing on the top of the pyramids. So I thought, oh wow, is there something written on the top of the pyramids? So I Googled, is there something written on the top of the pyramids? And I got Quora and Reddit at the top, and Google took a snippet saying there is nothing written at the top of the pyramids. I was like, I've just seen something written on the top of the pyramids on TikTok from this drone. I know there's something on there. I don't care if there isn't anything authentically written from the ancient Egyptian times that it was built. That wasn't my question. My question was, is there something written at the top of the pyramids? Google's pulled snippet said no. Quora and Reddit, who cares? I do not want to read some nutcase from Quora or Reddit talking about it. I want to see some some copy that's like intellectual and is answering the question. And AI couldn't do that. The Google snippet couldn't do it. Quora and Reddit, I'm not even going to go in. I'm not even going to put myself in there to see. So it's not probably fixed, or it's not. We have to see. It's broken still, in my opinion. So I'm sure we'll get a change at the next update. But that's it. It's changing, isn't it? What was the title of this podcast? Antifragility. So we have to be ready for everything.
I would definitely say, obviously in the past year, we've definitely adopted the use of AI more. Obviously, you're mad not to use AI. We use AI for loads of things, even if it's writing newsletters, coming up with emails, creation of that sort of content. It's just generally better at picking up and creating something like that than a human is, and then the human just edits it. This is kind of what we're utilizing it for, and we're finding it's working great. Obviously, the problem is AI is getting, the more and more people that use it, it's getting less intelligent. And this is also the issue you have. is, not everyone is Albert Einstein, so people are feeding in shit, pardon the French, and all that's happening is it's getting less and less intelligent because its knowledge base is becoming worse. And it's reading the internet, which is full of what you've just said, Reddit and Quora, and it's like, oh dear.
Yeah. For me, like the use case for me, I mean, it's obviously extremely important technology, and its abilities are like mind-boggling, especially when you take like PDF. If you save like a website or a document as a PDF, and you in ChatGPT or any of the others, you submit like 2 unique articles, and you want like a comparison or a contrasting, or you want to extrapolate data, entities, all this sort of stuff. It's mind-boggling what it can do. But if you're just going to use a vanilla version of it, which is seemingly what Google is doing with SGE, like if it's just going to pull and sort of reword, that's like, I don't know if that's good enough yet.
Yeah, that's just good old article spinning.
Yeah, without crediting the source or linking out to
the story. Yeah, absolutely. Well, the thing I love about let's say just SEO industry, which includes a lot more than just SEO. Digital entrepreneurs who are into SEO, link building, and all things associated, is that in order to stay afloat, you have to constantly learn,
Pivot.
just day by day, just day after day, just learn new stuff, adapt to new things. I remember I've mentioned it multiple times during these live streams. Like, I still remember this day in Saigon when I heard like people talking about ChatGPT, and they were really nervous about it at that point. And someone said, well, I have a friend who just exited his all of his affiliate sites because he just doesn't see any future in this thing. And here we are. I mean, of course, the game had become harder. Right? You have to be like quick enough to react quickly to everything, to adapt to this new technology, to take advantage of it, to do it properly, to make sure it's quality, to make sure it's not just you didn't just fill out your website with some nonsense shit content, but still, I mean, the speeds of everything, the scale is just bloated over this.
I think the nice thing with that, though, Vlad, is the one of the areas that me and Chris are in with it being link building. It's the main area that, although everyone's chatting about content, it's the main area that Google still use as their algorithm. And arguably, I would say, are going to use it even more so now when people are able to publish 1,500 articles, 10,000 articles in a day. How are Google going to be able to differentiate what is a good article and a bad? Especially when their own SGE can't do that. In my head, it's going to be the links that are powering these articles are going to help it out, as it always has been, help it identify what is worth them spending time on crawling and indexing. Because at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to, is what is cost effective to Google that will fulfill the user intent. And what's the cheapest way of doing it for them? Because at the end of the day, they don't want to be, spending a fortune on indexing a website which has 30,000 articles being published a day when it's all just crap, right? So again, it's kind of quite nice. It'd be very interesting to see in a year's time, how that's expanded and developed. It's the problem I find with SEO is and it's quite a hard mindset to adopt, especially if you're only into the organic side, because you have to be ready to get punched in the face multiple times on multiple days of the week and actually stand back up and go, let's go again. That's kind of the approach you have to adopt with SEO, especially if you're doing it like on a bit more of a higher scale where you're building quite a few sites and things like this, you have to be ready for them sites, or to just chuck money at things and pray that it kind of works. Even when you've got all those years of experience, it still very much is kind of like a guessing game, but you're just guessing a bit more intelligently. Yeah, it's one of them. You have to be.
I agree with Karl.
Yeah.
Links is like Google's put themselves in a situation where they geniusly came up with a way to rate websites, rate content using PageRank and relying on links, and it's. I think before we move away from links, we're going to get even more ingrained in links, because it's like if they can't turn off one part of like the core elemental part of their algorithm and just hand it over to relying on something else that's so new, so untested, and links is something that it's easier. I think it's easier and more cost effective for them to identify bad toxic links and either disregard the page rank that those links rank, or put those links into a penalty basket and penalize sites, than it is to stop using links as a massive part of their algorithm and do something else instead, which would change the fundamental part. But that is something that we have to be aware of. And then us Karl, as link building agencies, I'd say one of the challenges for us, more so probably in the past 12 months with AI content, Google updates. I don't know, Karl's had his agency a lot longer than me. It's always been an easy sell to clients. Links, buy links, get links, you'll rank better. It's obvious. There's so much changing so quickly now. I think as agency owners, maybe the difficulty for us and how we have to pivot and learn is communicating the value that we offer, and that there is ROI, noticeable ROI, and it's not X, Y, and Z that's going to be affecting them, but this is like a solution or one part of a holistic solution.
Yeah, it's all about the like you said, it's all about properly communicating the value you can offer. I mean, yeah, it can cost like a lot, right? But you end up getting a lot more than you invest if you do it properly, right? And speaking of links, yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, in the gambling area specifically, we were spending. It's almost like it just goes like that: spend. Your earnings are kind of like maybe it's a slight increase. It's hard to do on the camera because it's so many. That's going to be going up. Yeah, it's going to be going up, and then your earnings are maybe going up, but on like a slower trajectory. And then, it gets to a point where it kind of just snowballs. So then your link cost is kind of staying about the same, but your earnings have skyrocketed. That's kind of like how it worked in the gambling. But then, it does eventually get to a point where if you're not looking, if you've got a website and it's earning very good money, you should be looking to diversify the income streams. So you're not reliant on one traffic source. If you're relying on one traffic source, that isn't a business. That's just a recipe for disaster at some point. And that's kind of like our approach is, what else can you do, or what other traffic source can you bring in which would generate more income for the business, which actually makes it a business and not just a website. And that's kind of the approach we adopted in the gambling, where, we're doing Facebook ads, social Twitter ads, Pinterest, all of this sort of crap. We're doing TV ads, radio ads, like we're doing everything. We're doing
Pornhub ads.
There are
exactly. We're doing all sorts, to be fair. And it was just one of them, Google AdWords, Bing AdWords. We're doing every type of traffic source and testing. But I think that in itself then actually tells Google, I've always been an advocate for if you're willing to spend money with Google, what are you doing there? You're telling them it's a business. You're telling them who the people are behind the business. You're adapting a bank account with that and feeding the monster. So you're paying Google. Although I honestly believe there's direct correlation between those and your website's rankings. If you're not willing to pay Google a penny, why would they rank you?
I'd love to see a study on that.
I've seen it time and time. Honestly, like, you'd be very surprised at how quick shit ranks when you're willing to pay the beast.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah, I mean, I would have no doubt that would be the case. It just, yeah. The only thing I would say is like, why, counterintuitively, maybe would they deny you organic? Because if they all of a sudden started giving you too much organic, you'd stop spending on the ads.
or you'd keep both and retain maximum visibility in the SERP. That was always our plan. So, we had about, well, I think at the time of exiting 46 online casinos, and we pretty much dominated most paid ads. Like, we were there for most of the time, and organically for multiple keywords, we're position 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. And it's just that real estate, right? Because people don't always click on your link. So again, it's just if you make it profitable, it doesn't really matter. That's the aim of the game, right? If it's cost effective for you and you're making a profit, then happy days.
Agreed.
Yeah. There's Karl Kanger in the chat. Hi, Karl. Nice to see you here. I'll just quickly give an answer to Franklin's question to me. So he says Franklin has applied his domain names on Odys Global several times, but has received refusals, perhaps because it doesn't attract graphics. Not sure what that means, but whatever. How can I remedy this? All right, Franklin. So the thing is that whenever you submit a domain for sale with Odys Global, there are certain criteria used by our team to evaluate each domain, and if the domain doesn't meet this criteria, it gets refused. So yeah, if you wanna like boost the traffic, the value, just use whatever tactics and approaches were discussed today, right? Links, content, make sure it's not spammy and stuff like that. Grow traffic, make sure it's healthy and holistic, and get back to us and submit them for sale as well. Again, yeah. Guys, I was thinking here. I mean, you've been doing business for quite a while, whether it's link building, SEO, affiliate marketing, gambling, online gambling, stuff like that. I mean, you haven't stopped just on like doing affiliate stuff, and that's all. And you didn't bail out when with the uprise advent of AI, right? So something drives you forward. I mean, it's not just about like money, because you could have just invested something somewhere and simply just get revenue on a regular basis. So there's definitely some ambition involved, right? What is your main drive in your entrepreneurship?
Karl can go first on this one.
Um,
he's just had a fat exit, so I think Private Island's his.
To be fair, I just love doing the work. So my main drive's always been the lifestyle and the work. So I just quite enjoy. At the end of the day, there's four things I enjoy: my fitness style, traveling, SEO work, and then meeting the people at the different conferences and things like that, and the social aspect of SEO. I enjoy that like loads. Now, to be involved in this industry, you're going to have to keep on, and I like the fact that you have to keep honing your skills and keep learning. So that's kind of my drivers. Just what else is new? I quite like. Well, Dooley always says I'm a menace for starting things, but then my main issue is it's getting the team to continue the things that I start and not just leave them at the side when something like shiny object syndrome, something new comes up, I move on. So that's kind of what I've been focusing on the last sort of 3 to 6 months. And that's probably just my passion is, it's the evergreen changing landscape of SEO just ticks a box in my head.
For me, I had a restaurant for 10 years, a physical business, where your radius the circumference of your customers is limited by how far they're prepared to travel. So being in this industry now for like 3 years, it is addicting. I cannot switch myself off from it. There are your potential market size is the anyone who is connected to the internet, and there is so many opportunities. I can't switch off from it. I love it. It's given me the freedom to travel, meet new people, conferences. I don't know what other industries are like. I have a feeling they're a lot more competitive. SEO seems to be somewhere where everybody is willing to talk, tell you what's working, tell you what's not working. I imagine it's because it really doesn't matter. Like if Karl's making loads of money in casinos, he gives you a tip. You're not going to go and beat all of his casinos. It's like there's enough room for everyone to succeed, so everybody helps each other out, which is like an amazing part of it. And you just have that ability to test, tweak, and try new things. And yeah, it's an awesome game to be in.
That's actually something I was expecting to hear from both of you to a certain extent, which is like, yeah, that's definitely the vibe I get from this industry. So my first encounter with let's say with a larger scale of SEO industry was last year in Saigon, when I got to meet in person so many people I either saw online, maybe met and chatted online, made a lot of a bunch of new connections, and that keeps snowballing, over time. And this is definitely the vibe that I get from all of you guys, pretty much all the participants of this live stream of Odys Talks. It's just keep sharing, keep growing together, keep just learning new things, solving problems, and everything. It's so intimidating, but at the same point, incredibly inspiring.
I think that's why it's a successful. There's so many successful people in the industry, and it's like an industry which is like the main corporate entity within that industry. Let's say Google. The reason that they haven't been able to stop SEOs is because they love testing. They love doing things that are trying to break it, and then if something works, they share it. Like someone shared something with me the other day, just some easy parasite SEO stuff. So I was doing some testing on that, put something up within 5 minutes. I've got this small little, I won't reveal it all, but it's just like a cheeky little few $100s a month, easy 5 minutes work. Okay. Parasite SEO. But there's a way I can utilize that for something else within our existing business. That's a really interesting thing that we're now testing to see. So if someone shares one thing, it doesn't just mean you're going to just steal their idea and rip them off. There's so many applications for all of the different things that we can do. It's awesome.
Yeah. And Karl Kanger says here, people make friends at work in normal lives, but the people we meet doing the things we do are different. Definitely keeps me more involved and passionate about what we do.
Amen.
Amen. Yeah, and this perfectly sums this conversation up. I mean, guys, I didn't even notice how this hour passed. It was just like a hurricane. Seems like we started 10 minutes ago, probably. Yeah. Thanks a lot for doing this, guys.
Cheers, Vlad.
Chris is going to be speaking at SEO Vibes Dubai, hosted by Wright Press and Charles Float, and that Odys is sponsoring as well. Karl is going to have is it going to be a presentation or panel in Warsaw?
No, it's like a Q&A, so people can just ask any questions. I'm not really a one for doing presentations because I almost feel like anyone can create a presentation, go up and talk. I'm more of a on the fly. There's pretty much nothing I don't know about SEO. Ask us a question. If I don't know the answer, you've caught us by surprise. I'll find out and come back to you. That's kind of the approach we're doing.
Yeah. So Karl is going to have a Q&A panel with James Dooley in Warsaw in March. This is going to be Kulturalny o SEO conference hosted by Robert Nisiel. So yeah, and by the way, Karl is one of the Odys mentors. If you want to reach out to him and book a coaching session with him, you can you can use the link in the description of this episode. So yeah, that's about it. Once again,
Awesome.
thanks for doing this. Thanks for joining, and thanks everyone for joining this conversation, asking questions, sharing your thoughts. See you next time.
Bye.
Cheers, guys.